All right, welcome back to the Woman 12 Experience Radio Show. I guess first guest is here. It's sort of a late start. We were just chatting up. I haven't seen her in a long time. She's a mental health advocate. She is an entrepreneur, an author, the founder of LSO Enterprises. I got that right? And I said she's a trailblazer because she was one of the forefronts of mental health. I know mental health has always been an issue, but 5 years ago, she started mental health for our young people, for people, period. And now we see the heightened importance of mental health 5 years later. So let's welcome Miss Quinette Williams. So how are you today?
I'm well.
Yes.
Trying to set this up.
Yes, all right. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's been overdue.
It's been a long time,
yeah.
right? Overdue, that's fine. All in timing, whatever timing is necessary.
Yes, you've been doing the work. You've been in the field.
I have something to say once you invite me.
Yeah, yes. So you've been in the field. You started to set this bar for us. You know what I mean, about mental health and people checking mental health now. Because like when your relationships, you start dating, you don't feel about mental health back then.
Facts.
Now you feel about, okay, how's your mental health? You don't feel it's a conversation. Back then, you didn't think about that 5 years ago. You feel about, hey, what's your credit score? Well, how much job you have?
Right.
And your daddy feel, what's your mental health is?
Do you have any children?
Yeah, trauma, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So before you get into something, they're able to deal with this, you know what I mean? Or able to support him, her with this. So how was your week?
My week has been okay, actually, now that I think about it. I went out with a girlfriend last night.
Okay.
And so it was like, you know what, I'm just going to randomly invite one of my friends out. Because I have lots of friends. I have lots of friends, but I don't really hang out with them as much as they would like.
Right.
I'm an introvert, for real.
Right.
So I'm always okay with me and my books or my cat. And so my friends are like, hello, we're here. I'm like, all right, let me invite somebody out. She was like, all right, I'll be there. I'm like, oh, okay. So, yeah.
Wonderful. So I came up told you who Quinette Williams is in the intro. So who was Quinette growing up?
So Quinette growing up in her elementary school years was very sensitive. She was giving, really sweet, loved animals even then. In her middle school years, she was pretty mean and surly. She was angry, depressed, but not even knowing what depression was or that she was depressed. And then by high school, just really wanting to separate from the life that she had. So she just was doing whatever was necessary to get out and get to college or wherever was going to be away from the life that she had. So a lot has changed since then. But.
So you said in the teenage years you was angry and depressed. Do you know why you was angry and depressed? There was something happened from 12 to 13.
Right.
Yeah, so
it was a combination of things. My mother had me. I was born addicted to drugs. I was born addicted to heroin, cocaine, alcohol. When my mom had me and had to spend a few months in the hospital as a child, had to go back to the hospital as a toddler just to get my development stages checked on.
Right.
So my mom was active in her addiction up until my college years. So back and forth. Of course, with the cycle of addiction, people get sober, but they relapse, they get sober and all of that. So there was a lot of broken promises. There was a lot of housing instability. There was a lot of moving here and then moving there. And there was a lot of teasing. There was a lot of not having what I wanted or what I needed at times. Although my family rallied around my mom to take care of me, aunts and whatnot, so I didn't go homeless or have to go into the system or anything like that. But you're still a young person and you know what's happening. So just that anger of like, why is this my life? This is just a mess, and then just suffering. That's traumatic for kids, right? But again, at that time, nobody's talking about mental health, and not for sure, not with a kid. And in our community, especially, it's like, well, this is just what happens, right? We all have family members on drugs. Come on, baby, we'll take care of you, all right?
Yeah,
but it's like that kid is being affected.
Right.
And so that's what was happening for me.
So did you carry that anger to like So you get older, there's a lot more parts going on, mentally and emotionally going on. And so you knew at the time you were doing this, or you didn't know?
At the time that I was dealing with it, I knew that I was angry.
Right.
But it was manifesting in a way of like, I don't belong in this family. Like, this can't be my people, right? But I love them and they love me unconditionally, right? But that was the way my kid brain manifested it. Like, I have to be different from them, right? And I was super like conceited. I was terrible. I was a mess. I was conceited, mean and surly. It was something to see. But that's how it was manifesting, and I knew like just something. I don't like this.
This ain't right.
This ain't right.
This ain't right. Yeah.
So the anger carried into probably in my teenage years, like high school. But I moved to Mount Airy to live with my father's sister, so my paternal aunt. So then things changed a little bit.
Good.
I got separated from being like right in the thick of all the like traumatic experiences I was having.
Right.
So it lightened up a little bit. Then I got my first job, so it's like, okay, money's no longer an issue. Oh, so and so doesn't have it, I have to go without. Like now I don't, right? I work, and for people to like age myself, my first job was at the movie theater at Cheltenham Square Mall. Okay, when that was still a mall.
Yes, I'm about to ask you that. What was your first job?
So that was my first job, Cheltenham Square Mall at the movie theater. Whoosh, yeah, that was another probably traumatic experience if I really look at it from an adult therapeutic standpoint. But as a high school person, I was like, they're 25, I'm hanging out with them. Child. Yes, learning all kinds of stuff. I'm like, I knew what a situationship was before it was called a situation.
Oh, you was in one though,
because the older women that I was hanging around, they were in them, and therefore talking to us, the younger girls, about like how it operates and what was going on, and we're like, oh, okay, young and dumb, just young and dumb.
Wow, it's funny now. Like I go there to Cheyenne Square Mall like almost every week, once a week for my wife get hair.
Right.
So
but you're looking like
I was there Square Mall. It's like that woman like
exactly. It's just a culmination of it's like a strip mall now versus like the one mall you went into.
Yes.
And like walk from one end to the next.
Oh my, wow, that's like sometimes. So when you got older, you realized what happened. You got older. When did you decide to say I want to pursue mental health as my purpose?
So I went to college. I went to the first, HBCU, Lincoln University. All right, Cheney. Okay. So I went to Lincoln University, and when I went in, I wanted to be an accounting major.
Oh, okay.
Right? And so even, actually before then, now that I'm saying this out loud, when I was younger, going through the stuff, and I felt like I didn't have anyone to talk to, I wanted to grow up and be a person that kids could talk to if they had parents on drugs. Because I was the kid who knew it, right? So, but then fast forward high school and like going into college, I was like, no, I think I want to be an accountant. I could do that. So I get in freshman year, accounting, sophomore year, it gets real tricky. And I'm an accounting major, but I'm essentially living on campus. I am wearing the same clothes the entire week. I'm probably showering maybe 3 days out of the week. I go to class, I come back to my room, I sleep, then I stop going to class because I just slept all day. I just was a wreck.
So you know what was going on that time? Why he was doing that behavior?
At that time, I kind of had an inkling of like, I think this is depression, but more so I just felt like I just don't feel myself. I just am sad. I don't know why, but I just feel down, right? I still had not put a one word to it, right? So yeah, so that's what was happening come like circa year 2000 or something like that. So then I dropped out of school. And I was like, I can't really do this. This is, I'm just living here. I'm not doing anything productive. So I dropped out, came home, and kind of got myself together then. I didn't go to therapy or anything then.
Okay.
I just came home and felt like I needed to be home. Maybe that's what it was. And so during that time, I was with my friends and like, oh, okay, yeah, I needed to be home or whatever. Then I still just developed a new nagging and longing, and then I got saved. And so while I was home, I got saved, and then that was like, that might have been a part of the missing part, because I've been to church like as a child, but not on my own or anything like that. So then fast forward, I'm like, okay, when I go back to school, I want to help people. Like accounting, I can do mentally, but I'm not really passionate about it. Equally, when I look at it, I don't really budget my own money that well. You know, $100 is gone in no time. I'm like, where did this go? All I bought was chips, you know? So I was like, maybe that's not my ministry, okay? So I went back to school, and I was like, let me help people. I'm good at giving advice or a good listener. I think I could just transfer these skills. And that's when I went back and changed my major to human services.
So you went back to Lincoln?
Yes.
So how far along were you at Lincoln when you first left?
2 years in, I was a sophomore.
Then you came back. You came back to Lincoln like a year later.
Yep, a year later.
And then you finished out. Then you finished it.
And then finished out.
Okay, wonderful. So, quick question. I want. You was there. You probably know this person. You know someone like Wade Corbin?
Yeah.
So I always have a question. Already Lincoln. I always ask a question.
Right. I think you'd have to be, and I wasn't that social at Lincoln as much as I could have been. So many of my friends, came with me, or we all went together. But I say that to say, even if I wasn't that social, you'd have to be like under the rock I was under to not know who Greg Corbin is. Okay.
Yeah. So I was always at Craig at that time. He went to Lincoln too. So and he always came to Westchester for poetry open mics. Yep. So yeah, so I always had the president on Greg was a legend there. So
yes,
so I was like, hey, Greg Corbin. So I figured actually man, I'm growing there, Lincoln now. I figured I'm growing him now. So based on the work he has done, so legacy he left when he left Lincoln.
Well deserved.
Yeah, so now you graduated from Lincoln, you got your together, you got saved, you rediscovered who you are, you kind of recentered yourself. Yeah. Then now, what made you so did you start your business right after Lincoln, or what led to starting your own business or your own practice?
Yeah, so that's a bunch of different things. So in terms of starting a private practice, that's been like decades in the making, right? After I left Lincoln, I went into the workforce. Okay. I had a job right after Lincoln doing case management for welfare to work program. I spent time doing that, and then after that, my first job in actual mental health was doing case management for a company and a program that serviced individuals who were homeless and had serious mental health challenges. And so once I got into doing that, I was like, oh yeah, like it was more contact with individuals who had schizoaffective disorder as diagnosed back then, bipolar disorder diagnoses and stuff like that. So it's like, oh, okay, yeah, I do want to help people. So fast forward of 10 years of working, I finally go back and get my master's degree. And then graduating from the University of Penn. After that, I continue working, and then I had to get my license, right? So in Pennsylvania, you have to be licensed. You have to get a license. I'm a licensed professional counselor, right? You can also be like a licensed clinical social worker. So after getting my license and still working at my employer, I just started to feel like there's got to be a way that I could do this on my own. Super scared, absolutely nervous, but there are online platforms that provide therapy, so it's easy to be like, okay, well, let me link up with ABC online therapy, and they send me referrals, and they will do the books and all of that. I just have to show up and provide the treatment. So that was the first step into that. And I started that last year, I believe.
Oh, last year? Wow, that's for a while.
I know. So the thing, let's right. But I think there's a difference, right, for me, and I think that's a good segue, because LSO Incorporated stands for Love, Self, and Others. It's an organization that was created to eradicate the stigma of mental illness in the African American community. It's education based, and it's the nonprofit that I have.
Okay.
So when,
okay.
So
Okay,
when we were out there in the trenches and like having those conversations, it's under LSO because the purpose of LSO is to educate so that people no longer feed into the stigma of mental illness, right? I am a therapist who has had a therapist because I too have mental health challenges, right?
Yeah.
And so spreading that message and educating people about that. And then now my private practice is No Enemy Within. And so you can find that on Instagram at no_enemy within. And so I found an African proverb on Google, so hopefully it's legit. But the proverb says, when there is no enemy within, the enemy outside can do us no harm. So when there is no enemy within, the enemy outside can do us no harm. And I thought that was very, very poignant, and it really resonated with me because when we're our own enemy, then the enemy outside can do all kinds of harm to us, right? And not even on a spiritual level, but just say, for instance, if I already think that I look like trash, I'm not lovable, I'm not worthy, I'm fat, or whatever things I'm focused on. If Levon comes around and be like, oh, Quinette, you could really lose a couple pounds, right? I'm already just shut down because I'm already
you felt that way.
Exactly.
And me, how family someone says that confirms what you feel.
Exactly, you got it. And so also thinking from that perspective, also my goal in life is to live a transparent life.
Yes.
And so when I am I'm not my own enemy, and I am confident in myself, I am accepting of whatever my flaws or shortcomings are, then Jim John or Suzanne can't expose me and then make me feel bad, right? So if I have this secret that I have a mental health diagnosis, right, and I don't want anybody to find that out, well, if Suzanne comes along and can say that to the world, right, now I feel super defeated, right? That has hurt me. But once I can come to grips with who I am and there's no enemy within me, then the enemy outside can't hurt me. So if Suzanne were to say, yeah, you with that diagnosis, it's like, okay, and yes, I do have a diagnosis.
Right.
I used to be on medication. I've been off medication in real life for like 4.5 years.
Wonderful.
Thank you. So you see how that can happen. You can be empowered in that way.
Wow. So what for the LSO, love yourself and others?
Yes.
And no enemy within. What type of people you serve? You serve youth, so adults, or anybody?
Right. So with LSO, I would serve anyone in the community, right? Because it's education based. So providing that education, I can do speaking engagements. I do speaking engagements, like we've done some together, workshops and programs, right, for individuals to have an understanding and an understanding of what mental health is, what it's not, what the myths are, what a therapist does, what a therapist does not do, right? Then to educate them on symptoms of mental health diagnosis, right? And then understanding that the diagnosis is just like a diagnosis that you get from the medical doctor.
Right.
If you have the flu, you're not going around, somebody go, oh, what's wrong? You okay? You'd be like, no, I got a runny nose, I got diarrhea, I got chills, you don't just say the flu. You're not going to list all the symptoms, right? So the same thing with the mental health diagnosis. If you just say depression, then I know, okay, you may be experiencing hopelessness. You may be crying for quote unquote no reason. You may be having a fluctuation in your appetite, eating more, eating less. You may be sleeping more, sleeping less. You may be having body aches. You may be irritable. You may be isolating, right? There are all these things that you could be experiencing, but we could just say depression.
Right. Yes. So and then the no enemy within is that for adults?
So that would be more for adults.
Okay.
I can treat adolescents. My preference is to treat adolescents who are like 14 or older, because at the age of 14, though, they have the right to have a say in their mental health, right? So when they're signing documents, a 14-year-old can say, hey, I can sign this release of information myself, and I give you, Quinette, permission to talk to my other doctor about this. I give you permission to talk to my dad about that, but I don't give you permission to talk to my mom. At 14, a kid can do that.
Wonderful. Wow, interesting. So, and then also I saw that on your thing, you said you are an author now. So, That's awesome. So what's your book about?
So working on it, right? Putting it into manifestation. I mean, honestly, I've written one book. I just haven't published it. It's more of an urban novel. I wrote that years ago. But in terms of my mental health stuff, I have worked on a love and wellness workbook. And so the workbook breaks down focusing on CBT or cognitive behavior therapy, which really focuses on a connection between our thoughts, our emotions, and our behaviors, which a lot of times people miss. It's really simple, but if we're not really focused on, well, what thoughts am I having, right? And are these healthy thoughts? Are they distorted thoughts? Are they accurate thoughts, right? And then how are those thoughts shaping how I feel? And then how is it that I feel that's is shaping how I move? So for instance, if I'm thinking, I don't know, if I'm already thinking that when I step into the room, these other women are judging me. They think that I don't belong here. They think that I think I'm better than them or something like that. I may start to feel uncomfortable. I may start to feel anxious. I may even start to feel angry, right? And so then what would my behaviors be? I probably won't speak to them. I may isolate myself. I may sit on the other side, right? I may not be warm and inviting. But is my original thought accurate? Well, first of all, we can't read minds. So that would be a distorted thought or an unhelpful thinking style, which is things like mind reading, all or nothing, black or white thinking, jumping to conclusions, disqualifying the positives, right? And so if I'm thinking from that perspective, then I'm going to have these emotions that's going to drive me to behave in a way that's probably unwarranted. So part of the book is about that. The other part of the workbook is around how can you change that, right? So how can you even identify these thoughts? And there's ways that you can challenge those thoughts.
Wonderful. Definitely wonderful. So a couple quick questions. I know we got take a sketch coming up. My first question is, what do you do for self-care when you're not work with clients or doing writing or reading books? What do you do for self-care?
First and foremost, my self-care is I have a wellness coach that I work with, right? Because listen, I don't know it all, right? And so some things I don't even see. I'm still a human being, right? So I have a wellness coach that I work with to help me see things that I don't see. So that's the first part of my self-care. And I practice checking in with myself. What are my emotions? What am I feeling, right? Why is this making me angry? Why is this making me feel sad? Why do I feel insecure right now, or whatever that is? And being able to check in with that, then I can manage my own behaviors, right? The other thing is nature. I love the park. Like, I need to be there every day if I can, but at least 4 days a week. And I'm talking either just out on Kelly Drive or out in Sedgley Drive or Forbidden Drive, which is kind of behind Lincoln Drive, and it goes all the way up to Chestnut Hill. So it's like a really long trail you can go through, but it just encompasses all these trees and like a creek and a stream and all of that. So that is the first thing, and grounding so that you can walk. I walk bare feet in the grass to kind of ground myself for self-care. And then battle rap. I am an avid battle rap fan. So I travel for battle rap. So if anybody else is familiar with battle rap, Summer Madness is happening in September in Charlotte, and that's where I will be. Okay, so I am a battle rap fan. Rare Breed Entertainment, URL, King of the Dot, the Riot, Bullpen. I'm an avid battle rap fan.
Right.
Okay, right.
Wow. Okay.
I just went to an event too. I think the Battle Rap Academy had an event. Yeah, had an event here. Geechee Gotti, Rosenberg Raw, K-Shine, and Bill Collector. It was amazing.
Okay.
Yes.
Can you battle rap?
I be trying. The bars be coming in my brain, but then when I get ready to spit it, it be trash. So I be like, all right. I mean, I do all kinds of things. I write, so you would think, but it just don't be coming together the same way.
All right, and two more questions. What advice would you say to your younger Quinette?
Oh boy. And I was thinking about that, and I guess probably I would say, it's not going to last forever. Because in the midst of it, it felt like this is my life. This is going to last forever. And the other thing I would probably tell her is they're adults. That's not your responsibility, right? And I would probably tell her to talk to someone sooner than she actually did, so that she can get some relief from all that she was holding in, because she was holding it a lot.
Wow. Yeah. That's good. That's good. So, where people can find more about Quinette and about the service, like LSO, Knowing Me Within, or adventure you may have coming up.
Okay, so you can follow me on Instagram for No Enemy Within, which is no_enemy within. You can locate that Instagram page, and in the bio is the link for the website, so that you can learn more about what I do as a therapist, and schedule a consultation, because essentially the consultation is free, right? So you can get a free 20-minute consultation. We'll chit chat about what you have going on that will make you think you need therapy, right? And so see if what your needs are fit with my skills, because I think that's the other thing. Every therapist isn't for every person, right? I have the capability to treat individuals who have, lost someone, or maybe having some kind of other situations going on, but my focus is really OCD, anxiety, social phobias, and depression, right? And so OCD is something that people aren't really familiar with. OCD is much more than just washing your hands. OCD involves so many things. And social phobias, right? Individuals struggle with social phobia more than we really know, with small things like not even calling a dentist office to make an appointment because they're so afraid of what's going to happen when they make the phone call. They don't go to pick up food. They always have it delivered because they're afraid about going into the stores, right? They go into a store and they can't find an item. They may leave the store instead of asking an employee because they're so afraid of the social interaction. So helping people do that through ERP therapy is really my focus. And depression and anxiety, helping people with that as well.
So I'm gonna find it. Actually add you my page, and then I'm gonna promote the website, and so you get that free consultation, because a lot of people. And I didn't know they had that part. I know artists was LSO. So
and LSO.
I'm never promote that, because that even that consultation helps someone.
Right.
Yeah, that'd be the plus for you. You know what I mean? So
and if an individual wants me to come out to do a speaking engagement for education, you can email me at qwilliams@lsoenterprise.com.
Okay, and then also, sorry for me, I get the conversation, but my school doing bad school night on Thursday. From 5:30 to 7 at Logan. So I know that's far from Logan, but there are beautiful resources there. I would love if you had time to come and provide your services to the school there.
Yeah, please.
I want that the guys doing it. Because we definitely want that. We have resources for parents, a lot of it for the kids as well. Because some parents already doing that social stuff, so phobia. So that would be great to connect with them. I got someone in the community look like me.
Absolutely.
You should have more doors, more clients. So I'll definitely go let the guys know about your services.
Right, absolutely.
Because I'm about promoting that, make sure that we all went together. You know what I mean? Get our kids and parents exposed to people they are doing the work in the communities and paying lots of money to someone that know them. They also might feel that those are like cultivate something that I know what she's doing. I know what she's doing. She knows what she's talking about. So, I definitely spread the word about that. Absolutely.
Thank you. Absolutely.
Yeah,
because I think it's really important. Everybody doesn't have that information.
And
they think that therapy is like, not for black people.
It is.
Or black and brown people. Or they think that all we do is we're going to give advice. Therapists don't give advice, actually. We make suggestions, but we can't give you advice, right? You get advice from your friends, right? Our purpose is to hear what you're saying, listen for what you aren't saying, and pick out the patterns that you're missing so we can highlight them for you. Like, oh, wow, you said that, you know, the guy that you're dating hasn't called you back after 3 days. Didn't you say that happened with the guy before and then the guy before that? Where are you finding these guys? Like, are they guys that you're like, what's happening, right? So helping you connect these dots to break these patterns of unhealthy behavior.
Yes. Definitely. Yes. This has been a short conversation. Thank you for joining us.
No.
We're great. We connected. It's been a while.
I know, right?
But
social media keeps people connected.
Yeah, we're connected. Now you're still doing more great work for the community, and that. So I'm very proud of you. Thank you for being a guest on our show. Hope you come back. Come back down the line.
Absolutely.
And also, I'm working on building a team for Path to Greatness. I'm going to be 10 years in January. So
awesome.
So I'm trying to have a resource, a team that she does mental health. Okay, I can have them go to you.
Right.
So I'm definitely
built in already.
Yeah, I'm like as a partner. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so we can. I go to school here. All right, Miss Quinette here who does this. You can connect her to her.
Exactly.
You know, and so.
And then especially because then I have connections, right? I have clinicians that are here in Pennsylvania, they're licensed in Pennsylvania, and they work with kids younger than I do. So then I become a resource after being a resource, right? So like...
So thank you so much, Ms. Quinette. We can say connected. Keep doing your thing. Keep setting the trail for about mental health, because what you're doing was important then years ago. Now it's even more important now. So thank you for setting the bar and setting the trail for me to when we want people to be helping get my mental health and be advocate of mental health. So thank you so much, and hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.